Make the bad man stop.
All right, everyone, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment, doing a rare Saturday video. Got a lot going on with the coaching carousel. Brian Daboll was pretty much interviewed the day that Joe Schoen took the position via Zoom. He's also going to be interviewing Leslie Frazier today as well. You're going to hear the names such as Todd Bowles bandying it around. Patrick Graham's going to probably get an interview, of course. Well, he is going to get an interview, of course. Hopefully, you're going to see Brian Flores come in the door. You still got Dan Quinn. But you got to figure the inside track has to be from the two guys in the Buffalo Bills organization. I am not a huge Leslie Frazier fan. I'm going to tell you that right now. Frazier, of course, took over the Minnesota Vikings back in 2010. He led them to a 3-3 record. Final 6 games he took over for him. He then went 2011. He went 3-13. Then he went 10-6 his next season. In 12, he lost to the Green Bay Packers in the wild card game. And then in 13, it was 5-10-1. Not what I would refer to as an exemplary example of a 4-year experience or 3.5-year experience over in Minnesota. And he's just one of those guys, and it's nothing against Leslie Frazier, nothing against him at all. But they're, like I've said it before, they're just some guys that are coordinators. They're just some guys that are good coordinators, plain and simple. He's also had some issues at times being a coordinator. He was hired by Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2014. In 2016, the Bucs decided not to pick up his option. So in 16, he was hired by the Baltimore Ravens as a secondary coach. In 17, he was hired by the Bills as their defensive coordinator, and he's been there. And he was basically promoted to assistant head coach back in 2020. So he's rebuilding his resume at 62 years old. I just don't see him as the stalwart that we need to stand up to the New York press. He could be, but like I said, if you go back from his tracking record, I just think he's a better coordinator than he's going to be a head coach. Now, Brian Daboll, and we're also going to talk about Daniel Jones and Joe Schoen, but Brian Daboll, I keep looking at him more and more, and I don't get concerned, but I get worried a little bit when you have a 46-year-old is going to be your first-time head coach again. Now, his offense in Buffalo has excelled, and it's going to a second straight AFC title game. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm already predicting the future. But they are going to go forward. Or I should say they are in the AFC East title game. Second one. I was putting him in the championship already because I am high on the Bills. The team was 11-6. They finished third in the NFL with 28.4 points, and fifth in the league was 381 yards per game. Josh Allen, of course, finished sixth in the league with a franchise record 409 completions, seventh with 36 touchdowns, and eighth with 4,470 yards. His favorite target, of course, is Stephon Diggs with 103 receptions for 1,225 yards and 10 touchdowns. They routed New England, which is great. In 2020, Daboll was voted the AP Assistant Coach of the Year after the Bills finished 3-13. And they also unseated the longtime rivals, the Pats. And again, Allen had a great season. Daboll joined the Bills over in, when did he join? He joined them in 18. And that was after he helped Alabama to its 17th national title in 17. He was the Tide's offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach that season. Daboll's got 20 years of coaching experience in the league. He's got 11, of course, with the New England Patriots. And he's got a bunch of rings. Offensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. Worked for the Miami Dolphins. Worked for the Chiefs. Also the Jets. He was actually a Jets. I always forget he was a Jets quarterback coach in 2007. So I mean, he's a guy with a record. He's a guy. No, yeah, he's a guy with a record. He's doing 5-10. No, I'm just kidding. He's a guy with a track record, and he's built his resume as a coordinator. And if you take a look at it, you have to see. Well, you know what? He must have a shot. Or he's reaching that point where he needs to gain an opportunity to become a head coach. I just get concerned that the Giants are going to be. I just get concerned that it's going to be one of those issue games where we're going to have to learn on the fly with a head coach. Now you can look at Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, of course, he's another guy. He's a Joe Bugle guy in my mind. Joe Bugle. great offensive coordinator, terrible head coach. And I kind of think that Todd Bowles is the same way, and I kind of worry that we're going to head that direction as well. I just want to make sure that if we're going to go with someone like Daboll, that he's going to have the support system around him that's going to help him build a winner and help him build into a winning organization. That's my hope. That's my hope. That's my dream. That's my aspiration. Because I don't want to go through it. He's got a lot more experience than Joe Judge ever had coming into this position. He's got the backing 100% of the general manager. So, I mean, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Is he the front runner? I don't know. Is he going to be the guy? I don't know. We got to wait and see. We got to see what Flores does. We got to see what Quinn does. I mean, a lot of these names aren't like floating my balloon too high. But you know what? We just have to just kind of wait and see. We got to wait and see what happens and just give them the opportunity to, people gave Joe Judge 2 years and it just didn't work out. And I think a lot of people are going to worry about that as well. And I think that as a giant organization, you have to worry about going basically 3 times in a row now if you go with Daboll, after going with the doo-doo, after going with the Judge. Well, you're not in a row, I should say, because you had Shermer mixed in there. But Shermer was a retread coach. I didn't understand why he got a second opportunity. He had one good season and not even a great season when he got that job. He did not have a great season with St. Louis when he got the job in Cleveland. He had one good season, or okay season as an offensive coordinator in St. Louis when they hired him in Cleveland. And then he had one good season again in Minnesota when the Giants hired him to be the HC. So I don't know. We all just have to kind of just wait and find out. I love it because USA Today had an article the other day that said that Giants Joe Schoen believes Daniel Jones could be his starting quarterback. Now, I love it because if you actually read the article, it's Paul Schwartz and Lawrence Tides doing a podcast and reported that Schoen believes that Daniel Jones will remain in East Rutherford. And there was no direct knowledge of this. I was told that Shane believes Daniel Jones can be his quarterback. He didn't get into the GM interview and say, number one, Daniel Jones out, we're drafting a quarterback or we're signing one. What I was told was they talked about offensive line being really bad and how all the injury skill players are compromised Daniel Jones and can do more with Shane saying, I don't like your quarterback at all. It's all speculation and conjecture. we have no inside information. We have no information what Shane thinks of Daniel Jones. I think they're just more conjecturing what they think that he thinks, because they're going to say there's limited options in free agency, which there's not. And then they're going to bring out the fact that there's a less than stellar group of prospects in 2020, Malik Willis. You know, if you're not on the Malik Willis train, you need to get on it quick. I'm just telling you, because it's going to be rolling down this station, and we are just waiting. We are waiting for the Malik Willis Express.
All aboard the Malik Willis Express.
Get on it or get run over by it. I'm telling you. But you can't. I just love how people just put out these articles. You can't sit there and say, you know, it's going to be. You know, this is what he's saying. And then what's his name goes on, Paul Schwartz goes on to say, the positions will still be upgraded. They will increase the competition. Look at what I'm saying, because Schoen thinks he can work with Daniel Jones. They will not draft a quarterback over the first couple of drafts. I'm not saying that. A rising tide raises all ships, right? I don't, you know, it's just, again, it's fodder for the paper. And I think, you know, we all have to take stuff with a grain of salt. First, Daniel Jones has got to come back from his neck injury. You can't sit there and tell me he's coming back until you know for sure he's coming back or not. Until someone medically clears him to come back, because that could turn around and be your whole scenario about going with a new quarterback. So let's take it one step at a time. I just don't like when people, I don't want to say misquote things, but they don't bring all the facts and correct information with direct knowledge. They basically report stuff off of hearsay. That bugs me a little bit. I always thought it was journalism 101. I did take journalism 101 for a couple. Oh my God. We have a big stream coming up on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. We're going to talk about the coaching search. We're going to talk about the quarterback. We're going to talk about the whole season. We're going to have a lot of fun. So join us at 10:30 on Sunday morning. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, you can subscribe. Ring the bell, you know what it means. There we go.